Okay, Chaver, I apologize that we're not together in person tonight, but at least I wanted to get up to share to continue the Chazara. And this is going to be probably the biggest week in all of Kinyan because we're going to solidify B'siyata D'Shmaya this parak. So we're on Chavdal Amud Beis, and we're going to start from the Mishnah. Ha'ai says, you make your sukkah amongst the trees. And the trees are the walls of the sukkah. What is the din? Kishera. So your sukkah is amongst your trees, it's kosher. Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, says Rav Acha bar Yaakov, in this first part we already learned. Kol mechitza she'inach lamed b'ruach metzia, eina mechitza, a din. If a mechitza can't stand the regular wind, as Rashi explains, if the mechitza goes back and forth, it flaps in the wind, it's not a good mechitza. Says the Gemara, what do you mean, Tanan? What about our Mishnah? But how could it be kosher? It's going back and forth, so why is it kosher? Explains the Gemara. We had this before when we spoke about the animal as the wall. First we said bekashin, with thick trunks. What are the branches? That's the point I was referring to. Boots of Idafna, that you make it with twigs and branches and palm leaves, and you basically make a wall of the branches of the tree. Says the Gemara, what's the chiddush? You pour cement in the tree, it's also a wall. So you know what I would have thought in Exer, maybe you're going to come to use the tree itself. Kamashlan, and as Rav Zish pointed out, a massive chiddush. Kamashlan, that it's a good sukkah. You're still not allowed to use the tree. Don't get confused. You still can't use an actual tree. But the chiddush is that it's going to at least be a good sukkah. Tashemai, lines from the bottom. Hayishami, let me gather if someone has a tree or a wall. Or a mechitza of twigs. Nidan misham diyumad, as a din of a diyumad. Diyumad we learned is when you have the oiler regalim, had that well, and you had to make those 4 corner pieces around the well, so you could use it with either a tree or a wall or these twigs and whatnot. Ask the Gemara, if it's movable, it's a twig. Hasanami misham davale boots of a dafna. Again, you put these branches in between to make it strong. Tashema, case number 3. Ilan amisa chalaretz. We have a tree that's hanging over the ground. If the branches are not higher than the ground, 3 tfachim, then metzaltin tachtav. Then this tree that hangs over the ground, you could carry underneath the tree. Why? Because it's within 3 tfachim of the ground. Therefore, we have lavad. It's as if it's a full machitza, and you could carry. Says the Gemara, how could I have a din of a machitza? Mai hakaz of asi is moving back and forth. Explains the Gemara. Sanami davale boots of a dafni. Again, what did he do? You put the twigs and the palm leaves to make it into a wall. Says the Gemara, if that's true, then you made it into its own little rishos, and therefore you should be able to carry it in the whole thing. What's the problem? Alama. Why? Again, with the hey, not alma. Alama. Amar Avuna Brei Rav Yeshua on the last line. Why did Avuna Brei Rav Yeshua teach us? Ein metaltlin bai. You're not able to carry within this overhang tree area. Ella, as we move over to Chav Hey Amar Aleph, you are not able to carry Ella base sasayim, only 2 sa. What's the reason? This is a din. Misham da have dira. That's the answer. You're only allowed to carry Beis Hasayim. What's the reason you're only allowed to carry Beis Hasayim? Ask the Gemara. This would be a din. If it doesn't have a real mechitza, then there's a new din that we learned. They only that a kol hakef sheina l'dira, as Rashi 2 lines from the top points out. If we have a surrounding that's not made for actual living in it, then you can't carry so much in it. But if you went and you made these palm leaf matzavim around the bottom of it, then you created it for dira. You created it for dwelling. So then you should be able to carry as much as you want in it. Answers the Gemara, Misham David Dira Shatash Mishel La'avir. The reason is because this is a dira that's tashmis, its usually is la'avir for the airspace, and the halacha is chodir Shatash Mishel La'avir, and dira that is created for the airspace. So again, the thought process of the Gemara was, the Havamina was, what do you mean? You created this area to be within. And anytime I create an area to be within, I'm allowed to carry as much as I want. There's no limits. The whole limits is when it's not made for dira, it's not made for dwelling. And if I went and I made these walls on the bottom, I clearly made it for dwelling. The Gemara now is explaining, no, you didn't. You made it l'tash mishel la'avir. You made it for the airspace. You didn't make it to be inside of it. And therefore, you made it for the outside, to be showing me the field and whatnot, and therefore you're not allowed to carry so much. Tashema, we continue. Shavas betel shugavoya asara. You rested on a mountain that's 10 tefachim tall. V'ume'ar ba'amois ad beis hasayim, and it's 4 amos up till 2 beisa, or v'chein b'neka klef shu amak, which is deep. Asara 10 tefachim, v'umei arba amos ad beis hasayim, again between 4 amos and 2 sa. V'chein kamak etzura, standing grain. V'shiboiles makifois, or these bundles that are surrounding you. Isa. Then what's the halach in all these cases? Mahalich has kula, you're allowed to carry inside of it. V'chutz alal payim amma, 2,000 amos. Afal gav the kazal v'asi. Even though again you have standing grain, you have different things which clearly are not strong mechitzais, they're not firm walls, and we see you're allowed to carry. Why are you allowed to carry? What happened to the rule that anytime you have a wall that sways to and fro, it doesn't have a din of a wall? Says the Gemara for the 4th time, Asinami, Ta'avele, Behutza V'dafni. In each case, you made it with these palm leaves and whatnot, and you made it into a strong wall. And we continue from the Mishnah on, Chavei Amid Aleph, Shiluchei mitzvah, starting a totally new sugya. Shiluchei mitzvah are beturim min sukkah. A shliach for the mitzvah is pater from sukkah. Choylin, someone who is sick, umsham shein, his attendants are beturim min sukkah. Oichlin v'sheisin arai, chutz l'sukkah. Someone can eat and drink temporarily outside of a sukkah. Says the Gemara, where do we know this from? When you sit in your house, this comes to exclude that you have a din, you have to chiv and kriya shema only when you shift l'chavei. But if you're doing a mitzvah, when you travel on the road, that excludes a chasan. Mikan amru, from here we learn, someone who marries a woman who's never married, pater, is exempt from shema. V'salmana is chayiv. Says the Gemara, my mashma. What do we see from over here? Amar Avuna kiderech. We darshan of left chava derech. Ma derech is rishos. You have the choice. Do I travel? Do I not travel? It's rishos. It's optional. Av kol rishos. Then you have an obligation to say shema only when you're doing optional things. La'afuke hai, and that comes to exclude this case. Tima mitzvah. That you're doing a mitzvah. So when you're doing a mitzvah which isn't optional, you're bound by God to do the mitzvahs. Then you are pater. Then you are exempt from doing another mitzvah. Says the Gemara, what's going on? Mila yaskinan, are we not dealing dikazal advar mitzvah? They are going to do a mitzvah, and yet the kamarach mana likri, and the Torah says to say the Shema. Meaning, the Gemara is asking, you just told me a whole drasha that rishos, that derech is optional. How do you know? Maybe the case is, and we could say that the pasuk includes one who's going to do a mitzvah. Answers the Gemara, Im Kain Lima Kra, the pasuk should say, B'sheves uveleches. Should it say that you're sitting or you're going, my b'shiftecha, ubelechtecha. What's the extra chav? Yours, going to you. Beleches didachu d'mechayivis. And you're going, you're obligated. Beleches the mitzvah, and the going of a mitzvah, petiris, then you are pater from doing another mitzvah. Says the Gemara, beautiful, 12 lines from the bottom. First one line is Iachi. Asks the Gemara, Iachi, if this is true, Avilu koines is almana. Even one who marries an almana nami, one who marries an almana as well, should be pater from saying Shema, because you're doing a mitzvah. So now the Gemara changes it a little bit. It's not just a mitzvah that makes you pater. Says the Gemara, Yachav l'koines amana nami. Koines is a besula, explains the Gemara, tarid. You're preoccupied. It's your first time getting married, first time having relations. But koines almana loy tarid. Says the Gemara, what? It has to do with being preoccupied. Anytime you're preoccupied, you're going to be exempt from doing mitzvahs. Achanami de pater. Rather now, if that is true, if someone's boat is drowning at sea, if someone is involved in an intense business deal, you're going to tell me he's exempt from mitzvahs because he's tarid, because he's preoccupied with what he's doing? Says the Gemara, maybe yeah. Maybe yeah. Says the Gemara, Ovel is obligated all the mitzvahs. Chutz min tefillin, especially exempted about tefillin that we'll learn tomorrow. Shemina and prayer. It says you have to be glorified by your tefillin. And an ovel is certainly preoccupied. And even though an ovel is preoccupied, we're saying he's obligated in mitzvahs. So what's going on over here? What is the reason one who gets married is pater First, we thought it's because he's doing a mitzvah. We try to figure out then why he is marrying a woman who's married already any different. We thought it's because you're tirda, you're preoccupied, then why one who's preoccupied in business? Answers the Gemara, hacha tare tirda de mitzvah. You need to have the two things together. Hasam tare tirda de rishos. One is that you're tirda, that your preoccupation is with a mitzvah. You're preoccupied with getting married. So when the two things coincide, I'm preoccupied, I'm tired, and it's a mitzvah, that's when I'm exempt. If I'm just preoccupied, like the case of the Ovel, like the case of one at business, then there would be no exemption. Says the Gemara, 4 lines to the bottom. So you're telling me this is the source from Isaac b'mitzvah patim in mitzvah What do you mean? We have another source. The Tanya we learned in a brayso. There were those who were tamei. Nefesh v'goymer oisam anashim mihayu. Who are these people that were tamei? Noisi aron shel Yosef. They were those that were carrying the aron of Yosef. Hayu Divir Rav Yosef Lili. Yosef Lili holds they were carrying the aron of Yosef, and that is the reason why they were tamei. We move over to Chavhei Amid Beis. Rav Akiva Amar, they were Mishael El Safan Hayu. These were Mishael and El Safan. She'aiskim. What were they dealing with? Ben Nadav and Avihu. They're dealing with the death of Nadav and Avihu. Rav Yitzchak Aimer, Im Nasi Aaron Shel Yosef Hayu. If it was the people carrying the Aron of Yosef, Hayu Kvar, Hayu Yicholin Tar. What do you mean they could have become Tar? Im Yishael Val Tzavan Hayu Yicholin Hayu Litar. What do you mean they also could have become Tar? Elo. So rather, what do we see? Iskim a mitzvah, b'meis mitzvah you. They're dealing with a meis mitzvah. Shachal Shvi Shalan Lios be'erev Pesach. On Erev Yontif, they're anticipating bringing the carbon Pesach, and what happens? A meis mitzvah, someone dies, and the Shalem Lios be'erev Pesach. Shenemar v'leichu lasses at Pesach. They weren't able to do the carbon Pesach by Yomahu. So we darsha b'yamahu in yechalin lasais. Halamacha yechalin lasais. So as the Gemara, we see a clear and explicit source for Iskim and Mitzvah Pater min mitzvah for the fact that they dealt with the Meis Mitzvah, and therefore they were Pater from the Karban Pesach. So why are you telling me the source is from Mishitcha V'Secha V'Lechtecha V'Aderech? And with this we conclude, says the Gemara, Sricha, Diashmin on a Hasam, I would have thought, Mishlam Delom Mata Zman Chiyuva de Pesach. Maybe the only time Isaac B'mitzvah your Pater is when the obligation didn't come yet. It was Erev Yontif. But in our case, the Mata Zman Kriyishma, the Zman already came. So maybe there's no exemption. Eimaloi, Sricha, therefore we needed both cases. V'yashmin and Hacha, if we only said our case by Shema, we should delek a karis, maybe because it's not so severe. Coming Tamei Meis, Karban Pesach is karis. Avalazam nika karis, Eimaloi, Sricha, therefore we need two Mekayres to teach me Isaac b'mitzvah, Patam and a mitzvah, is even if the Chiyav is not right in front of you, number one, and even in the case of karis, number two. Chavra, let's get the Chazar Stark. I'm definitely available for any questions. And tomorrow night we'll pick up from Chavei Amid Beis, Siyum, B'siyata D'Shmaya, next Sunday night.